Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I'm Ira.
I'm Gwen. Hi.
How's it been, Gwen? How's it been going this past week?
Oh, goodness. It's been happening.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm fine. I don't know. I just didn't do a whole lot this week. That's okay.
Okay. I've been fucking gaming. And
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I'm playing fucking Xenoblade 2 still. And I'm having a great time, but there's only so much you can really say on one of these podcast segments about it. It's I ran around the video game and I got in a lot of fights with enemies. And I leveled up. And I explored areas. And I don't know. What the fuck do you want me to say? I'm not here to podcast about JRPGs. I'm here to talk about anime.
Yeah, and I understand there's something to do with orbs.
Yeah, you put orbs on guys, and then you explode the orbs for large amounts of damage, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not it's a thing I'm playing and enjoying, but it's not a thing I'm not really thinking about what would I say about this on a podcast when I'm playing it, as evidenced by the fact that I spent the last minute and a half saying fucking nothing about it. I'm still basically on a break from watching anime that isn't for this show or our other show, for whatever reason.
You and I are still watching Lycra's Recoil
Yeah.
every week, and that's
That's a great time every week, obviously, but
Yeah. It didn't have a cool Naruto animator this week. I don't think so. I don't know if we have anything to say about it.
Yeah, I mean it's fun, You learn some crazy shit about one of those girls this week.
Oh yeah, but I think it's fine for this early segment to be a little bit thin if we're ready to get to the episodes.
I am totally ready to get to our episodes.
Okay. Episode 84. Roar Chidori, Brother versus Brother. Sasuke rushes to find Naruto and remembers the day his family was slaughtered by Itachi. It starts with a young Sasuke wanting his brother to help him train, only for him to be too busy. Sasuke spends the day chatting with members of the Uchiha clan and going to school. He stays out training till sundown. When he returns, everyone in the Uchiha clan has been killed. He finds his parents with Itachi standing over them.
Right, so before we get into the events of the episode, I guess I want to touch on a staff thing quick.
Sure.
This episode has animation direction by Akira Matsushima, who I've talked about before. Eventual character designer on the Demon Slayer anime, and is accompanied by a lot of the usual names that have been accompanying him on the show in terms of key animation, right? He's been a recurring animation director. He's a pretty standard member of the rotation at this point. The one key difference is that the episode director is Tsuyoshi Matsumoto as opposed to Shuji Miyahara, as has been the case for all of his previous episodes. And I think that winds up making a kind of tangible difference in how the animation is presented. I think it winds up being a little bit flatter in a lot of ways. I think it's interesting, and if you're paying attention on that level, I think it's interesting in terms of a case study of how much a difference a director can make on that level, and how much how different the presentation of the animation can be with a different person in that role.
Mm-hmm.
Because I definitely find a lot of stuff in this episode looks pretty good still, but I think there's it also feels it's kind of missing something in terms of how it's all put together. And that's not a very articulate way of saying it necessarily, but it's something I believe. So there's that.
Yeah, and I can definitely see what you're saying about it, right? I watched the episode too, and I think that makes sense.
But you compare it to I'm thinking some other episodes. There was the last episode of the Gar flashback stuff, and there's the episode where Naruto and Jiraiya first start meet up, and I feel there's often a sort of way that stuff is composited with lighting and stuff that adds a sense of depth that isn't necessarily here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, getting into the actual episode, getting a little less out of the reads on that stuff. This episode begins with Naruto's opened up the door. He sees Itachi there. He looks up at Itachi. The first thing he thinks is oh shit, Sasuke got tall somehow.
Yeah,
which is great. He's so stupid. He doesn't know anything. They obviously know that Naruto has the Nine Tails in him. They're here for him, which is calling into question the Leafs' strategy of I guess telling every adult in the village about that. But like, you know, it's fine. It's fine. I won't dwell on that too much. That's not like, you know, this scene is like pretty short. We don't spend a ton of time on Naruto here. Like we move on to Sasuke. Like Sasuke is like rushing to try and like get to Naruto because he knows some shit's up. He knows Itachi's here. And like we get the first of like several flashbacks to you know, like throughout the course of Naruto, the first of several flashbacks to like, you know, Sasuke's youth before Itachi killed everybody.
Can I say something?
You can, I mean, you're on this podcast. You absolutely can say something.
So, Itachi's supposed to be 12 here.
Oh right. Hey, what? No, he's not. Wait, he's not 12 here, is he? Is he 12 here?
Sasuke's 7, so.
And how old is Itachi? Oh god. And Itachi's like.
Itachi's a rough 12.
Oh good. Yeah. Wait. What the fuck? Like right now he's like a rough 17, right? Like.
Yeah. Right. Which I want to touch on. Maybe it's a little bit inappropriate for Kasame and Itachi to be boyfriends.
I guess so.
Right, because the dude is like 30. And Itachi is 17 right now.
Which is easy to lose sight of, right? Because...
yeah.
You're just like super old all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the face lines.
It's the face lines. Does he have those since he was a baby? Like, is it just been like that? He came out of the fucking womb looking old?
Yeah, I guess. Like, Itachi appears in this flashback like basically identically to how he is in the present.
And Sasuke, who is also 12 at this point, is like half of his height.
Yeah.
Like in the present, right? So it's like, what's going on there? Like, Itachi was a genius both in terms of, like, you know, graduating the academy young, you know, like, passing the tuning exams young, you know, joining Anbu young, and also getting really tall at the age of 12.
Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ.
Because this is like the age differential between, like, Konoha and Naruto, basically, right? Like...
Yeah, I think so. It's gotta be pretty close.
Oh my god.
Right, because I know that, like, Shippuden... Sasuke is as old as Itachi is right now.
Wait, that doesn't seem right.
It is.
What the fuck? Okay, I'm like, because he's like 12 right now, right?
Yeah.
And that time skip's like 2 years long?
It's,
like 2.5 years long or something?
What I think it is that, like, the actual, like, events of Naruto take place over the course of a certain amount of time, so he's like 12, 13.
Okay.
And then by the end of Shippuden, he is as old as yeah.
So it's not like he just like skips over a bunch of years over the time skip. He's like he's speed running it. All right, that was our like Naruto character age digression. But yeah, I totally didn't even think about Itachi being 12 here. Oh god, yeah.
Right, because he even breaks down, like, yeah, I graduated at 7. And then later Sasuke's like, well, I'm as old as he was when he graduated. So we know that Sasuke's 7 here. We know that, like, that is where the time period is, and we know from, like, the age difference that, like, Itachi would be 12 now. Yeah,
okay. Alright. Sorry, I'm just kind of reeling from this. But yeah,
Yeah, we gotta drop a picture. We gotta drop a picture of Itachi here.
Yeah, I don't have one in my notes, so like I'll have to like add that after finish recording the episode or something, because I'm not gonna go looking for a picture of Itachi to put in here. But yeah, so I mean, we get like a little bit of like Sasuke interacting with like each of his family members. You know, he's like asking Itachi to like help him train with like Shuriken Jutsu, and Itachi's like he's doing his classic distant Itachi thing where he's like, you know, I'll do it later, and he does the forehead poke. The classic Itachi thing, you know.
Yeah.
And Sasuke is like, you know, obviously he's kind of bummed about it, but like he can't hold against his older brother, you know. Obviously his cool older brother's super busy all the time.
Hell yeah.
You know, we see like Sasuke's parents, and like Sasuke's dad seems like he's the fucking worst, basically.
Yeah.
Right, like Sasuke like asks what's up with Itachi, and Itachi's dad's basically like, yeah, I don't know, he's fucking weird, I don't understand him, he kind of creeps me out, and he like just sort of like stares off into the distance all concerned looking, and it's like, bro, what are the vibes here? This is like, it's a weird energy to bring to this.
He's pretty sure his son's gay and he just doesn't know how to, like, approach the subject.
Okay, I mean, that's not really what I was, like, picking up from this, like, whole thing, but I guess that's, like, this is something I guess I'll get into a little bit more later, but I feel like this series of Sasuke flashbacks winds up painting Itachi in this sort of, like, weird neurodivergent kid who, like, doesn't, like, know how to empathize with other people way.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, I don't know, it's this, like, kind of extra, like, uncomfortable layer of coding to place over the fact, like, Itachi's about to kill his whole family, fucking serial killer style, that's, like, I completely forgot about.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, in that light, which is, like, a lens that, like, Sasuke's father is, like, constructing, his dad comes across super badly. He's, like, this fucking, yeah, I don't understand my weird son, and I don't like him very much kind of guy, and it's, like, maybe you had it coming at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
Sasuke's mom is, like, basically not a character in classic Naruto style. You know, she's like, oh, Sasuke, I'll oversee your shuriken practice. And he's like, it's not practice, it's training. It's very different.
It's very different, Mom.
It's a big deal. Practice is for babies. Training is for cool child soldiers.
I'm 7.
My older brother was, like, killing people by, like, age 8. I need to catch up.
God.
You know, Sasuke runs off to school. He, like, runs into a couple of the other, like, people in, like, the, remember, like, a couple of people in the Uchiha clan. Just some, like, unassuming old people, you know. They tell him how cool and awesome Itachi is. You know, how they talk about his, like, you know, graduating the academy at 7, becoming a junior at 8, like, you know, joining Anbu whenever. This is a scene that's, like, in the manga, this is just, like, Sasuke, like, running to school and, like, thinking about this, but, like, that's expanded out into, like, somebody, like, talking to Sasuke about it, which I guess, like, sort of serves the purpose of, like, yeah, we're gonna give, like, more people for you to identify that will be killed in the oncoming, like, master of the Uchiha clan. And I guess it's also, like, sort of, like, serves to kind of, like, externalize the pressure that Sasuke is, like, placing on himself to catch up to Itachi here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sasuke's out training late at the academy. He's just sort of, like, sitting in the fucking playground throwing shurikens at a log for, like, hours at a time. Goes back home and, like, oh shit, everything seems kind of fucked. You know, all the lights are out. There's maybe some corpses around. Itachi is just fucking sitting on top of, like a telephone pole, just, like, looking down and be like, alright, shit, alright, cool. Sasuke's back. I'm gonna go stand menacingly over our parents' corpses now.
How long do you think Itachi waited standing by the corpses?
I don't know. Do you think he was, like, trying to position them all dramatically so they'd be, like, slumped over each other like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's not going great for Sasuke here in the past. But I think that's about what I have to say about this part of the episode. If you're good to move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
All right.
Itachi hits him with his trauma vision, and Sasuke sees the murder of everyone he loves. Sasuke begs Itachi to tell him why this happened. Itachi says it was only to test his abilities. Clearly outmatched, the young Sasuke runs for his life. Itachi catches up and tells Sasuke that if he wants to kill him, he'll have to stay mad and get stronger. In the present, Itachi and Kisame are about to walk off with Naruto when Sasuke arrives. Sasuke states his intentions to kill Itachi and rushes him down with the Chidori. Itachi redirects it easily and breaks Sasuke's wrist. Kisame prevents Naruto from doing a summoning jutsu and moves for the kill, but Jiraiya arrives just in time.
So yeah, Sasuke, he gets hit with the Tsukuyomi, and
trauma vision.
Oh, fucking trauma vision, the trauma beam. This is like our second Tsukuyomi scene, and, like, this one definitely has, like, a, you know, this is, like, a more defined sense of place to it than just you know, like, Kakashi being on a cross in the void or whatever, right? Like, this is, like, Sasuke is, like,
yeah, the crucifixion plane.
Yeah, right. Like, Sasuke is, like, you know, in the fucking, you know, the Uchiha clan quarter of the or whatever, right? And he's just, like, wandering through there. There's, like, some pretty cool shots of, like, the various members of the Uchiha clan just sort of, like, stumbling around and, like falling towards them at, like, kind of weird angles. It's, like, it's pretty cool. I think that winds up being, like, kind of interesting to me about this, and I don't know how deliberate this is necessarily, but I feel like a lot of the violence in this, like, depiction of it winds up being, like, really muted, right? Like, it's a lot of people, like, falling over with, like, no real direct influence. There's, like, a point where, like, a bunch of people, like, run at Itachi and he sort of, like, blasts them away.
Yeah.
Like there's an extent to which, like, the actual, you know, like, the depiction of the murder is not really, like, something we get like a super clear picture of. And like, you know, there's like, it gets kind of close to that, like when Itachi is like, you know, like killing their parents, right? But like even that like cuts away from it, and like it feels way more muted, like even in comparison to like the similar version of this scene we get like next episode. To the point where it always kind of feels like Itachi is like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna hit my little brother with the trauma beam, but he's like 7, so I'm not gonna go too hard on it. Like, I don't want to scare him too much.
And like Sasuke very notably isn't in a trauma coma after this, so like, you know.
Yeah. But definitely going easy on him a little bit. I don't know if he was going for like a whole day or anything, you know? We don't know how long he got sent to the fucking trauma dimension.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. But like Sasuke comes out the other end.
Mm-hmm. You know, we get the classic exchange of like, oh, why did you do this? And Tachi's like, to measure the limits of my abilities or whatever, right? You know, which is, I feel like winds up being another thing that sort of gestures at this understanding of like Itachi as like the fucking scary serial killer guy whose brain doesn't work right.
Yeah.
And like, again, like this isn't like in the grand scheme of things, this isn't really what like Itachi winds up being, just because I feel like he, along with so many other characters, gets caught up in this rolling wave of like, well, actually they had like a you know, quote unquote good reason for doing the bad shit they did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for me to tell if that was like always the plan, or if like Itachi really was just supposed to be like kind of a scary serial killer guy at this point.
It's hard to tell, right? Because the like the way he is now gets like backfilled into being like a front he put forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know,
it's not as like glaringly contradictory as some of the other things that get backfilled, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I could believe that I was being like some sort of like reveal of like, yeah, actually there's more going on here. Like, sure, I could buy into that, but like it's hard to get a picture of like, you know, how much was really there. And I'm very curious how much of this kind of like depiction of like this weird like neurodivergent coding on Itachi like sticks around, because I don't really remember that being like a thing about him in the way that it very much seems to be here.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm definitely going to keep my eye on it.
Like, you know, he as he's leaving, he's like, all right, Sasuke, you have to fucking, like, stay alive and get really mad at me and try to kill me, which, like, to the extent of, like, trying to, like, paint that as, like, oh, maybe he does have, like, a greater thing here, but at least, like, wanting Sasuke to stay alive is like, well, maybe this is just, like, kind of, like, a fucked up way to, like, try and motivate him to not just, like, fucking give up on everything, you know? Maybe this is, like, the best he knows how to do as, like, a kind of weird guy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, no, we get back to the present, right? Sasuke, like, arrives at the hotel, runs into the hallway, like, Itachi notices him before he says anything. Like Kasame is, like, such a fucking delight in this scene, and he's, he turns around and looks at Sasuke, he's like, hey, that guy's got the Sharingan, I thought you got all those guys, did you miss somebody? That's pretty embarrassing for you.
I love Kasame so much.
I love that he's just, like, kind of a fucking weirdo who's, like, hanging around his, like, way stronger friend who's just like, fucking say his sicko shit. He's just kind of a goofball.
Yeah. Naruto knows that Sasuke is, like, wanting to kill his older brother.
I mean, does he know that, like, he wants to kill his older brother specifically before now, or does he just know he wanted to kill somebody? I forget, like, how much Naruto's heard about the actual details up till now.
I'm pretty sure he had the older brother.
Okay. So you were, like, saying something about, like, Naruto, like, knowing that Sasuke wanted to kill his older brother?
Yeah, so, like, Naruto had the older brother detail, right? Because I'm pretty sure when Sasuke shows up and he's just like, I'm here to fucking kill you, and then Itachi's like, yeah, this kid's my younger brother. I'm pretty sure Naruto remembers, like, in like, the Naruto flashbacks where, like, Naruto's figuring out that, like, oh, this is the guy that Sasuke wanted to kill, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he gets, like, the older brother detail, and it's just like, this kid is so fucking stupid, right? Like, he knew Sasuke wanted to kill his older brother, and then this fucking, like, dude comes. He looks just like Sasuke. He has the fucking Sharingan and everything, and he's just like a bad guy.
Uh-huh.
And then it takes Sasuke showing up, going, my older brother, I'm here to kill you, for Naruto to go, wait, this is Sasuke's older brother, the guy he wants to kill.
Oh my god. That's fine. He's doing his best, you know? He's trying his hardest. It's okay if he doesn't know anything. Right, so obviously Sasuke is like, you know, he's ready to fucking try and kill Itachi, so he's gonna, like, burst out the strongest attack he's got.
doesn't work out for him.
No, it doesn't work out for him. But before we get to that, I want to like shout out like these two specific panels from the manga of like when Sasuke is like writing the Chidori. I think they're like fucking sick.
Oh,
I think
exciting.
that
Fuck yeah!
you got like the really intense like hatching, like shading and stuff. You got like the like skin like peeling off of Sasuke's hands as he's like fucking filling it up with this fucking lightning energy. It's just kind of awesome. I think it looks really cool. I feel like the anime version just winds up like suffering a little bit because it gets sort of like the like effects part of the Chidori gets like really overdone, like obscures a bunch of the details, which is like kind of a letdown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Sasuke like charges forward, he's just fucking up this hotel hallway.
I love how, like, extremely on-purposely, he drags the Chidori, like, into the wall to run along.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I love this, like, again, I feel like this is a thing that kind of gets dropped later, but I love the Chidori as, like, this thing that you just kind of have to fucking ground on something as you run with it, and it just, like, fucks that thing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool shit. Anyway, Itachi obviously isn't having it. He just fucking, like, grabs Sasuke by the arm and, like, just fucking, like, points it towards the wall and explodes that wall. It's awesome. Just fucking extreme cool guy shit.
Yeah.
Naruto, like, seeing this is like, oh shit, I gotta do something. He's, like, preparing to summon. And then, like, with, like, a surprising, like, level of readiness just pulls out the Ninetales chakra. I feel like this is, like, maybe the easiest time we see him have with this for, like, quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, instantly goes wrong, you know. Kasame's sword fucking eats it and starts wiggling. Just a little bit of a sneak peek at what kind of fucking weird sword Kasame has.
Yeah.
That's great. Stuff is going bad for the boys.
Stuff is going bad for the boys, but don't worry, Jiraiya's here.
Don't worry, Jiraiya's here. He shows up. He's like, you fucking idiots trying to distract me with a woman. I don't like women. Women like me. It's like, okay, man.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Okay.
I just want to say, Jiraiya,
Mm-hmm.
the, like, 6 minutes it took you waiting outside to come up with that line,
Mm-hmm.
that's Sasuke's broken wrist, bud.
God. Like, look at this one, like, in the next episode, like, Jiraiya just sort of, like, stands by and lets, like, shit happen to Sasuke more. Because he's like, oh, I want to see if he can handle this.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Episode 85, Hate Among the Uchihas, the last of the clan. Itachi confirms to Jiraiya that Naruto is a big target for the Akatsuki. Sasuke stands up and insists on being the one to kill Itachi. Itachi kicks him down the hallway, twice, then hits him with the trauma vision. Sasuke relives the Uchiha slaughter in Itachi's nightmare realm.
A bit of staff chat here. This episode is storyboarded and directed by Masahiko Murata. This is a director I've talked about, like, way earlier in the tuning exams, but he hasn't actually been around for a while. His last episode was like the end of the Sakura and Ino fight.
Mm.
In between then, he went off and directed a different show called Gilgamesh, which I know basically nothing about. But like, I think we see him here like returning to the show with like a much more refined like directorial voice. I feel like he brings a lot more like out stylistically in these episodes than he has in any of his previous ones. Like there were like little bits of like flair in his previous episodes, but I think this one's like a much stronger showing from him than we've seen before.
Yeah.
This is also the first of many episodes that he'll handle like that are like specifically about Sasuke and Itachi. You know, I don't know if it just like works out that way coincidentally, or if he has like, you know, an ongoing interest in these characters that he keeps coming back to. But like either way, like this is sort of like a recurring thing in like his episodes of Naruto.
Yeah. So
we kind of start off this episode by like going back over Jiraiya's arrival. You know, we get his like announcement of like that the fact that he's here, but like it's like a way bigger ordeal this time. There's like this ridiculous like shot of like him standing in a spotlight and the camera's like zooming in and out with like these fucking like percussion accompaniments each time it like cuts closer or farther away. He's like waving his hair around. He's just being a fucking ridiculous dramatic guy. You know, we get his line about how, you know, he doesn't like women like him again.
I'm not a fuckboy, I swear.
I have to question some of his like decision making abilities here, like even beyond the extent to which he like had a, you know, he showed up late to make a dramatic entrance. You know, obviously if you remove the genjutsu from this woman, like if that like leaves her unconscious, you probably can't just like leave her there in the middle of the street unconscious. But I don't know why you brought her here.
Yeah, I feel like you could have like stood her on a roof somewhere.
Yeah, like I don't know, maybe. Or like, you know, maybe like, I don't know. There's probably like an empty room in this hotel somewhere. You could have just like fucking...
Yeah. Or even just like, the room you were ostensibly in with her.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. But he just kind of like places her down on the floor of the hallway, and like gets into an argument with Naruto about like Naruto calling him like a nickname that isn't cool. Narratively, this is like, okay, here's like a bit of levity to interrupt all of the like grim, intense like Sasuke and Itachi shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like the function it serves, but it also does like he seems like maybe he should be being a little more active in this whole situation, and like again, he very much just lets like all that shit with Sasuke and Itachi happen for a fucking while.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sasuke is like on the floor for the start of this, and he's like hearing them talk about how they're here from Naruto, and he's like super pissed off about it. He's like, okay, hold on, this needs to be about me again. Struggles back to his feet, and Jiraiya basically just like sits back as, again, Sasuke gets like kicked down the hall fucking twice.
Literally just like kicks down the hallway, like all the way down the hallway, like hits the back wall, runs up, and then gets knocked back there again.
Yeah, and then like again, like it's not like they're just like replaying the footage. Like it is like completely different. Like it is like more impressively animated the second time he gets kicked down the hallway.
Yeah. Which, like, okay, in Itachi's defense, that is like extreme Big Brother shit.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I've never been kicked all the way down a hallway.
Do you have any older siblings?
Yeah, I have two.
Okay, that's weird.
I'm sorry you got kicked down so many hallways.
No, it's okay. I think it's kind of fun. I think it's very characterful for like Itachi of just like, yeah, I'm still not taking my little brother seriously because he's my little brother. Mm-hmm. Because,
I think it winds up being kind of interesting in this scene to me is like there's a bit where like Sasuke has like some like flashbacks to like the night where Itachi murders family, and we wind up like what we wind up getting here is I feel like there's a real like resistance on Murata's part to like directly like reuse like shots from the previous episode, even when these are like images that were like directly in that episode, and I feel like they wind up coming a lot stronger in like his version of them, which like makes for an interesting direct comparison. Like I'm gonna put a few of those in the chat for you to see.
Yep.
So like the first two images here are like these shots from like episode 84, and the second two images I put in here are these shots from like episode 85. And I think what you get is like I think there's like a much like stronger stylistic flair to these, but I think there's also like a clearer sense of like what you can fit in like the frame and like how to use that to like the fullest advantage, right? The shot of like Itachi like standing over like the over like his dead parents in like the first one is like when it's establishing that there's somebody there, it is like just like, okay, here is like Itachi from like the shins up, and then like his face is in shadow, and then like in like the version in episode 85 it's like, okay, he's like is like a much lower shot. We've got like the trail of blood leading up to like his like their parents' bodies, and you've got like Itachi's both like standing in shadow and like extending up out of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one where it's like after Itachi does the Tsukuyomi, where he's like looking down at Sasuke from across the room, and like Sasuke's like hunched over. Like in the first version, it winds up being like a pan over like a still image rather than like trying to like condense it all into like one specific like frame that's the size of like the screen that they're working with. And the second one just like tries to like condense that into like one single like image that's composited for like the size of the frame that they're working with. And again, I think it winds up coming across like way stronger for it, and being like way more mindful of like like what the medium they're working with is. Those images are going to be on the Twitter if you want to like see what I'm talking about here. Like basically, I think Masaki Murata is like pretty good.
Yeah, these shots look great. Yeah, but then of course Itachi follows him down the hallway the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Gets him with the old trauma vision again.
Yeah, does the classic like choking about because the wall moment, the famous from the memes and everything.
Yep.
Yeah. We get another of the Tsukuyomi scenes. I think this one is like really cool. I feel like it winds up being very in line with a lot of Murata's like stylistic tendencies in a way that like winds up making this like whole scene work super well. Okay, I think a lot of the like shots in this like second Tsukuyomi scene wind up like the backgrounds have like this like super cool like extra like layer of like sketchings applied to them, and they're often like kind of like warped and curved in these like subtle imposing ways. It winds up like really leaning into like the inverted monochrome thing where like when there's a shot of like Itachi like standing over his parents, like his face is like covered in like this white shadow instead, and it's like really striking and cool.
Yeah, the inverted monochrome is a really good effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this like it's like in these scenes a bunch, but I feel like it's like really leans into it and like heightens it in a way that I think really pays off. Um, I think that like the violence in this one is like definitely a little bit heightened too, right? Like there's like more, it's still not like, oh shit, this is like fucked up and gory, but it's like it's a little bit, again, like in comparison to the previous one, it feels like a little bit less pulled back, right? Which I guess sort of works at some level because, like, again, like unlike when Sasuke was like a child, this one does fucking like take him out, right? He is like he is just basically fucking out after this. He's like not conscious.
Naruto can't stomach this anymore and rushes Itachi, but gets stopped when Jiraiya covers the walls in meat. Jiraiya's toad mouth trap tries to pull the Akatsuki into its flesh and digest them or something. They take off running and Itachi blasts a hole in the wall with Amaterasu. They've escaped but failed to capture Naruto. Jiraiya seals away the mysterious black flame and dismisses the toad tummy. Guy shows up and accidentally kicks Jiraiya in the face to avoid the Sharingan. Sasuke's not doing too hot, but Jiraiya reassures them that Tsunade, the person he's looking for, can help.
Alright. Yeah, so Jiraiya has done enough standing around at this point. He's like, okay, shit, I guess Sasuke doesn't have this. I'm gonna make the room really fucking bad to be in.
I'm just gonna make the room awful.
I hate this one of Jiraiya's jutsus. This one sucks so bad. I mean, obviously, it seems to work pretty well. Like, it forces the Akatsuki back. It gets Sasuke, Sasuke gets, pulled back into the wall to be safe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just pretty fucking grody, you know? I do think there's, some, I fucking hate that this happens, right? I think it's just, it's got an unpleasant air to it. I do think it's kind of cool that, as it, grows over the room, the, light fixtures are still, exposed.
Yeah. Well, because you don't want to make it dark. The kids are here. It's too scary.
It's too scary. You don't want to be in the fucking toad esophagus in the dark.
He saves that for when it's grown-ups only.
There's there's this weird processing effect, whenever there's any of the toad flesh wall that's animating has on it, it's got this extra layer of I don't know, super grimy, uncanny looking stuff that is I find genuinely a little bit unpleasant, but also kind of cool, right? It just looks kind of fucking weird and unworldly.
Yeah, which I guess makes sense for a conjured meat wall.
Yeah. Yeah, Jiraiya says that he has literally summoned the esophagus of a toad, right? He didn't just the way he talks about it as if this is a part of a guy who I guess is okay if he does this.
Can you do partial summonings and it's fine?
I hope so. I hope he didn't just there's a toad suffocating somewhere.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. I don't like this one, Jiraiya.
It's a weird one. Jiraiya, don't teach Naruto this, okay? He doesn't need to know this one.
He really fucking doesn't.
Also, I mentioned that this was the first of many episodes about Sasuke and Itachi that Masaki Murata worked on. I am trying not to think too hard about the fact that this is the second episode that Masaki Murata worked on about people being inside of a big animal throat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to worry about that.
I hope it's just a coincidence, because I don't think it happens a third time. I could be wrong, but, I don't think it happens a third time.
If I had a fucking nickel... okay. So, the Itachi and Kasame ran away.
Mm-hmm.
And Jiraiya's don't worry. There's no way they can get out of here.
No secret and mysterious techniques could possibly break this fucked up toad wall.
Yeah. So Itachi blows up the wall with his eyeball.
Yeah, it leaves behind some mysterious black flames behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what that's about. I mean, I do know what that's about, but they don't say what that's about here.
No, they don't. And then Jiraiya does something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He seals the fire away in a scroll.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's good. I think the thing with this fire is that it doesn't seem to go on its own, and it's probably good to do if you're gonna send this esophagus back to a toad that it shouldn't be on fire when you do that.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
If he's returning this, he should try at least a little bit to patch it up.
Is that what shinobi firefighting is like? You just lock the flame away in a scroll?
Probably. I mean,
because that's pretty badass.
That is pretty badass. You've probably also got guys who shoot water out of their mouths, but I don't know. I mean, that's not as badass.
Yeah, it seems way cooler just to seal it away in a scroll. Come on.
There's also like another like shot I want to call out here when like when the Akatsuki are escaping. There's like this shot of like it's like this like low shot of the river where the camera's like kind of like half underwater. And like you've got like Itachi and Kasami sort of like touching down in the water, like sort of out of sync with each other on like different halves of the frame, and it's just like a cool little shot. It's just showing off a little bit.
I really like the Naruto tree hopping, but on the surface of like a river.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Also, there's something I feel like I need to address. Right. So like at the start of this episode, right, Jiraiya like places that woman down against the wall.
Yeah.
And like the last we see her is like immediately before he does his big like toad esophagus summon thing.
Oh no.
And we do not see her again afterwards.
Uh-oh.
Jiraiya, did you forget about that woman?
Jiraiya, did you forget about the woman?
Jiraiya, did you imprison that woman inside of a toad forever?
No, I think she just like gets dissolved in stomach acid.
I guess that's also possible.
We should start a tally of how many women Jiraiya accidentally kills.
Is this the first one?
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And only give him 3.
What 3?
I don't know.
Are you just sort of assuming that's how many will be across the course of the show?
No, so far.
So far, what happened before now?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just to give him the benefit of the doubt, I think it's fair to call it a 3.
Okay. But yeah, we're never seeing that woman again.
No.
Like certainly not in these episodes in any case. I could look on the wiki if this was ever addressed, but like I'm not doing it in the middle of a podcast. But, Jiraiya's just sort of like, he's assessing the situation after all this has happened. Right? I guess Guy comes and kicks him here, right? And then he starts like assessing it, what's all happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he's like looking at Sasuke and he's like, ah, shit. Maybe I should have let him try to fight.
I mean, to be fair, Sasuke did insist.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, he's like willing to turn to Naruto, which I guess maybe shows he's learned his lesson, right? Because like Naruto after this is like he's super angry. He's like, I can't fucking believe they did this to my bro. I need to fucking kill them. I'm gonna get their asses. It'll be fine. I'm good enough. Which like obviously he's not. But can you imagine how much it would fuck up Sasuke if he like wakes up from a fucking trauma coma? And he's like, yeah. By the way, Naruto, he kind of killed Itachi while you were asleep.
I think Sasuke would just like go become a farmer somewhere.
I mean, that's good for him, actually. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's better than being a child soldier, but like, Sharingan can't help you farm.
Maybe it can help you farm. I don't know.
Like, Byakugan can definitely help you farm.
Mm-hmm.
You can steal like the aphids and pick them off yourself.
Okay. Using the fucking gentle fist to like obliterate all the aphids on a plant in like seconds.
Yeah.
The fucking 8 trigram 64 palms on my fucking potato plants.
Let's see you like see through the ground, see like gopher holes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I guess there's only so many like farming techniques you could steal from other farmers to become a better farmer. So the Sharingan doesn't get you that. Like, it helps you get started.
Uh-huh.
You hit the ceiling pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, but Jiraiya's like, no, kid, if you fight Itachi, you'll fucking die. Don't be a fucking idiot.
Like, sorry, there's actually like an upper limit on 12-year-old power. Like, I know Kakashi said that there's kids younger than him that are stronger younger than you, that are stronger than him, but there's not kids like your age that are stronger than fucking Orochimaru and Itachi and shit. You gotta know your place at some point.
You'll get there, dude. Just wait like 4 years.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I mean, don't wait. Like, practice. Like, train. Try hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'll get there. Yeah, and then Guy shows up.
Guy talks about like Kakashi being unconscious back in the village, and thinks about Lee being injured, and Naruto's thinking about like Sasuke being unconscious. So it's just like a room being fucking sad, full of people being sad about like various people to care about being like fucked up, and Jiraiya is like, hey, don't worry about it. We can go get Tsunade. It'll be fine.
I gotta say, the little bits of Tsunade that we get like in this episode and the next episode makes me very excited.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean by that?
She looks awful.
In what way?
Okay. How do I explain this?
Mm-hmm. Please do. Please do your best.
Okay, I need you to be nice to me.
Okay, I will be nice to you. Always, all the time.
I think a dipshit gambling woman is so fucking hot.
Oh yeah, totally. I get you. I don't no worries there. I just had to be sure what you meant here.
I want to have a beer with her, and I want our tits to be out.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I want that for you.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we don't get a ton of Tsunade in this episode, right? Like, it's her, like, walking down a hallway towards, towards a room, like, the briefcase, and she, like, opens up the briefcase and shows that it's full of money.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the girl's with her. I think it's Shizune, right? She's, like, totally shocked. I do want to talk about this money for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all got the fucking, like, leaf symbol on it.
Yeah.
And it's making me wonder how, like, segmented the currency of the world is in terms of, like... Like does the whole land of fire have, like, the leaf on its money? Or...
I think that would make sense to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It, like... Your, like, main military branch or whatever. Or however the fuck shinobi is supposed to work in this world.
Yeah.
It makes sense for, like, their symbol to be, like, one of the weird things you put on your money, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, it suggests that, like, the at the very least, the individual lands probably have their own currency with their own fucking village symbols on it, right? And it does sort of make me wonder, like, with the sort of, like, various, like, power plays that the Leaf is doing on, like, a less directly military level, how much fucking Leaf brand money is, like, you know, maybe spreading out to the various, like, smaller lands and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we don't really see, like, much of a like, gesture towards that now, but we do know that, like, the guy who's gonna run the fucking biggest, like...
Yeah, Nice Gato?
Nice Gato is gonna fucking, like, put himself, like, really in pocket with the Leaf, right? So, like, it's, you know, maybe fucking Leaf brand money is gonna be, gonna be the real standard going forward.
Scary.
It's scary.
You ready to move on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Episode 86. A new training begins. I will be strong. Guy takes off with Sasuke and leaves Naruto with a green jumpsuit because he likes his moxie. Jiraiya explains to Naruto that the Akatsuki probably want to use the fox as a weapon of some kind. Naruto takes this super well and wants to hurry and find Tsunade and get stronger. We see Tsunade sit down for a round of high-stakes gambling as Jiraiya explains her situation to Naruto. Turns out she's really good at losing money.
You know, we start off, like, with a little bit more with, like, Guy and Naruto and Jiraiya. You know, Guy's, like, still, like, Jiraiya's still, like, annoyed about having been kicked in the face by Guy. We learn that Guy is a person who just carries around green jumpsuits just in case a child impresses him.
Guy really wants a new battle son.
Oh my. Oh god, I hope it's not just because, like, I hope it's, like, not something he's just started doing now that Lee's kind of laid up. Like, I hope this is, like, you know, I hope this isn't, like, a new like, line of behavior. Because that's, like, pretty grim if it is.
Mm-hmm. But also we know, like, his whole thing about, like, his martial art and everything. Like, he kind of needs somebody to pass it down, right? So
yeah, I guess I'll try and believe the best of Guy for now. I'll try and believe, like, even before Lee got injured, he would have done this. You know, I'm sure he'd I'm sure, like, really what he's happy about is, like, he would love for Lee to have, like, another friend in a fucking green jumpsuit once Lee's back on his feet.
Oh yeah, no, Guy wants the green jumpsuits to be cool.
He wants it to be cool so bad. He's like, everybody thinks Kakashi's fucking cool, but when my green jumpsuits are the fucking big fashion sensation, when every fucking kid in town is wearing them, then we'll fucking see.
Which, you know, by the way, hey Guy, not gonna fucking happen.
No, sorry.
Sorry, bud. If track me down, give me one. I'll wear it one time as a joke. That is my proposal to you, Guy. My guy.
If you're listening.
If you're listening, my guy.
This is a great opportunity to grow your brand.
Yeah. I'll only make fun of you a little bit.
You're not going to get that anywhere else.
Everyone else will make fun of you a lot. From your very first appearance, you know, I'm cited as being like a Might Guy enjoyer. So like, you know, if it's gonna be anybody, bud, it's gonna be me.
I think that's about as much of the podcast as we can dedicate to advertising to Might Guy, a fictional character.
Look,
no, you're fine. I'm just ready to move on. You know, Naruto and Jiraiya are on the road. Naruto's like wondering why the Akatsuki are after him, and Jiraiya says like, yeah, it's actually about the nine-tailed fox. And like Naruto's like, hey, what is that anyway? And like Jiraiya goes on to talk about how like the nine-tailed fox is just kind of like a weird monster nobody understands that just like shows up and fucks stuff up sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like pretty incongruous with like a bunch of lore reveals we're gonna get later. But like, you know, so I'm still on the watch for like, when does that become like a thing that is decided?
Yeah.
Because that again, like
I'm really curious about like how many of these characters that are like, yeah, he's just like a big mysterious monster that shows up sometimes, are gonna be like, yeah, I know about the tailed beast and the Jinchuriki.
I mean, like certainly Jiraiya is, right. Like, there's no way he's not gonna be like a person that like actually knows about that.
Right. I'm just excited and curious how that is going to like present itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like wondering when we get like the first concrete sign of like, oh, this is like when this becomes like the big thing. Like I feel like it might just be like in that first arc of part 2,
mm-hmm.
and it might be like kind of an awkward changeover then, right?
Yeah, like how in Dragon Ball Z suddenly Goku was an alien.
Yeah, that's not a bad comparison, honestly. But right now it's like, if this was like written with the knowledge of like what this becomes later, it is just a scene of Jiraiya lying for no reason.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know, Naruto's weird like this. You know, it's not the thing that it is changes a few times throughout the course of it. And that's totally okay, because I like what it is at most of those times. And they walk some more, they talk some more, they talk about like Tsunade. We this is like interspersed with like some shots of Tsunade like going to gamble. And she like walks into the gambling hall, and like everybody's like initially shocked and like gradually getting like more and more excited about the fact that they're about to take a bunch of money from her. And like I definitely do want to like circle around to what you said about like really liking Tsunade here, right? I also think Tsunade is very fun. I really like the extent to which she gets to be like kind of like a loud, goofy, like sort of frivolous character who has like her goofy character traits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she is often doing her own thing. She is like doing her best to avoid being like sucked into the current of like the Naruto woman who sits back and doesn't do much. And I guess we'll see how like well she pulls that off in the grand scheme of things. But like there is like a vision of like theoretically Tsunade could just be like, you know, kind of like a loud, boisterous character in a way that would be very refreshing here. Yeah,
absolutely. And you know, at the very least, he is going to be that for a little while, and like we can savor it.
Yeah. And then Jiraiya talks about like how even though you know Tsunade, it might be hard to find because she's always like making herself look like she's different ages to like evade her gambling debts. And I feel like that's kind of half-assing it. I don't know. I feel like you can go bigger than that. I feel like you can just make yourself look like different people entirely. I understand like maybe why you don't do that, so you can have like a consistent visual image of the character. But like I'm imagining like weird, only sort of successful con woman Tsunade who like keeps like pretending to be like completely different people all of the time. And she just has like extremely beleaguered like woman with a pig who follows her around, who is like trying to like keep up with like these various different like ridiculous personas that Tsunade's like trying to put on to be like a different person to like borrow more money.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be delightful.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Right, because it's not like you have to like borrow and spend the money as this other person. You can borrow the money as someone and then spend it as Tsunade.
Yeah. Did you have anything else you want to say about this half of the episode?
Nope.
Okay.
Let's move on. Naruto wants to hurry and start his training, but Jiraiya needs him to wait. They arrive at a town with a festival going on, and Naruto's excited to spend some of his hard-earned cash. Jiraiya notices Naruto's overstuffed wallet and swipes it, handing him back his budget for the festival. Jiraiya says he's going to go hunt down intel, so Naruto runs off to have fun. Naruto buys too much food and spends money on dumb games. Eventually, he runs out of money and catches up with Jiraiya. He's spending all of Naruto's money on booze and women. While getting his ass about it, Naruto accidentally stains a rich and tough-looking guy's jacket, and Jiraiya whips out the Rasengan to defend him when the guy starts demanding money. Jiraiya gets a bunch of balloons and takes Naruto outside of town to start teaching him.
So yeah, I want to talk about like the scene where, you know, Naruto is like wants to go and have fun, and like Jiraiya's like, no, you only you can have like this much of your money and like none of the rest. You know, you need to observe the 3 shinobi tattoos, right? You need to like avoid like giving in too much to money and drinks and women. And like there's a few things I want to touch on here. The first is that like there's a scene we will see like much later, like 1,000,000 times, that is like a flashback of like Naruto's mom is like talking to him like before she dies, like back when Naruto was a baby, and like talking about like the 3 shinobi taboos and how like he's like trying to like convince him to like avoid them, and then goes like, oh, actually maybe you should just avoid Jiraiya, which like I didn't realize was like a callback to this moment here. You see that scene like 1,000,000 times and you see this scene once.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty cute on that level, like, you know, like making that connection. I also want to say that, like, I think it's very funny that, like, you know, he lists these 3 taboos, and, like, we sort of get this image of, like, you know, Jiraiya is, like, of the Sonic. Jiraiya is the guy who's, like, really into women, and Tsunade is the one who's, like, really into money, and Orochimaru is the one who's, like, sorry, I'm not doing this thing, I'm not going to be the alcohol guy, you guys can just go do this shit on your own. I'm just not about that. I've got my own vices.
Wait. But when Orochimaru gets better, he's a wine mom. Oh
my god, we solved it.
Yeah, so he just needs to grow into it.
All right, okay, so maybe we'll get there.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to say about the 3 shinobi taboos is that like when Naruto's like, oh, I don't need to worry about those because like I'm too young to. I only need to worry about one of those because I'm too young to drink, and I don't really get the woman thing. Just like okay, gay Naruto confirmed.
Or like it keeps happening.
It keeps happening. Yeah, so like Jiraiya walks off and like takes Naruto's wallet with him. And this is like one of those moments that really like, you know, it's not like I'm like, oh, I can't believe Jiraiya did this. He's like fucking problematic for like taking kids' money. But like it really like pushes him over the line to just being like we were talking about like when he was like preparing to throw Naruto off a cliff where it just like crossed the line into being like weirdly mean. This is kind of that same way where like, I don't know why he's doing this. Right, like he like later in the episode, like Naruto finds like his fucking like you know, a document like his fucking savings account, and like Jiraiya is like super well off, so he's just fucking like burning through a bunch of Naruto's money for like no other reason but to be mean to him. And I don't really know what we're supposed to take about Jiraiya from this, right?
Yeah, it's just dickhead.
Like it's not like, oh, I think the character is rude, but like it crosses the line into just feeling fucking strange, right? Like it's just.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fucking steal and spend all of this poor kid's money. Cool one, dude.
He doesn't need to, like, he can do all of that shit without spending any of Naruto's money. Because he is, like...
Yeah, or, like, they did the Naruto counting zeros joke.
Yeah. But, you know, before all that, there's like, some really cute stuff with Naruto just, like, going around the festival and having, like, a great time. You know, he's getting a bunch of food. He's, I really like where he's playing carnival games, because he's totally cleaning up on, like, the ball throwing game with his fucking shuriken throwing skills. He's like fucking about the fish catching scene. Like there's like really cute scene where like he starts to do hand signs, and the guy wearing the stall just like pulls over, like puts his hand on his head, like points to the sign, just like, hey, no jutsu, don't do that shit.
No jutsu.
It's like a really good gag. Like I love that, you know, you can just be like, the town is like close enough to one of the big villages that you need to fucking worry about that. I just like to see the kid having fun. I like to see him having a good time.
I want to know what jutsu Naruto thought he was going to do to catch the fish better.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Was he going to, like, summon a toad?
Right, but, like, I feel like the rules are pretty cut and dry in, like, the little fish catching game. You got to use a little paper net. And scoop a fish up, right? I don't think there's anything in Naruto's, like, repertoire.
Yeah.
That would help with that. He does like Shadow Clone Jutsu and then Transformation Jutsu to make one of his clothes into a paper net that won't dissolve.
Oh, that could have been it. I could see him doing that shit. Like, it's probably like a wiser idea to like not do that directly in front of the person you're trying to like con. But you know, he's onto something. Like, you know, you do a little bit of you do a little bit of sleight of hand to like replace the fucking paper net you get from the stall with your unbreakable clone paper net, and you're off to the fucking races.
Yeah.
You know, Naruto like has his fun, and he winds up thinking fondly enough about Jiraiya. He's like, you know, actually, maybe he's all right. I'm gonna go treat him to some like nice like fried squid. Goes off to meet up with Jiraiya, and of course Jiraiya is doing his like the over the top comedy asshole bit of having spent all of Naruto's money. You know, Naruto goes to like pick a fight with him about it, and like sends him the fried squid flying, and it goes like and hits a guy's like allegedly very expensive coat. I love this fucking like ridiculous like tough goon guy.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me that he shows up, he's like, yeah, what's up? I'm a chunin. Like saying something that's like only impressive to people who aren't really in the like who like aren't really in like a like actually ninjas, right? Like you could like bluff like some random townsfolk with that, but it's like if anybody knows, like, oh, okay, that's like, I mean, you know, like you're on par with like the more competent 12 and 13-year-olds in the world. That's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, right. Like you're not like baby training wheels ninja anymore. Cool.
Congratulations. Also, I feel like, you know, I think they're really, like, if they really are, like, you know, missing it from their village, I feel like they're really, like, missing a take of, like, trying to be cool and tough guys. They don't have their fucking, like, scratch through headband at all. Like, you gotta have that shit. Yeah. It's important.
Right?
Like, what are you doing without that?
Or do you think he's the guy who, like, never got a headband, but he's just like, yeah, I could have been a shooting. I'm probably, like, about a shooting level right now.
Oh my god. That's, like, even more pathetic. I did do, like, a little bit of, like I did do a little bit of wiki digging, because, like, sometimes, you know, you watch an episode of Naruto and you want to know if any of these fucking randos have names.
Uh-huh.
And it turns out a whole lot of the randos in this episode have names. Like, basically all of them. Like, these guys are like Gantetsu and Choseki. And, like, according to the fucking data book where they were named, they are actually ninjas. They are actually tuning from fucking, like, the Hidden Stone or whatever. But, like...
Okay. I like my version better.
Yeah, your version is definitely funnier.
Wait, he's like, I need $1 million for my cool jacket.
My cool jacket with my bad collar.
It's just a big gray shape.
It's terrible. This is a bad jacket, sir. You've been conned.
You have been conned.
So now I fucking sold him this jacket in the back alley and said it was very expensive.
That's where the fucking briefcase of money came from.
Yeah.
Alright, with this jacket, you're officially a chunin now.
Yeah, right. Like, this jacket actually, it's kind of like a reverse Emperor's clothing situation. It looks invisible to anybody who isn't a chunin.
Hey, you probably can't tell.
If you're not chunin level, this doesn't even show up.
God, okay. But, like, you know, Jiraiya just sends the shithead flying.
Yeah. We get the first ever Rasengan.
I love the Rasengan.
Rasengan's fucking cool. It's good. I mean, like, I feel like we'll get more into that over the next few episodes as we, like, learn more about it, right? But, like, right now it's just like, oh, shit, here's, like, a, you know... It's fun to, like, a mysterious new attack that makes guys spin around. And I think it'll, like, ones up with the Rasengan as we go forward. And I'm, like, excited to get into that, you know? As we enter, like, Naruto training time.
Yeah, are you excited to get to Naruto's big attack phase?
I don't hate Naruto's big attack phase, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like, we've talked about how we, like, might miss some of, like, his sort of, like, scrappy, like, trick-based stuff, and, like, his, you know, trying to, like, just get an edge with shadow clones, but, like, you know, I don't hate the Rasengan. I think that, like...
Yeah, I mean, and also, or, like, this is getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but, like, there is an extent to which the Rasengan in itself is, like, a shadow clone trick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, do you have anything else you want to say about this episode?
Not really, no.
Alright, well, I guess that's the podcast.
That's the podcast.
What are we watching next week?
Alright, so next week, it's going to be a little bit abnormal. You know, we talked a lot about, like, you know, we are watching episodes 87 and 88 of Naruto, and that's it. We're just doing 2 this week. We talked a lot about how this arc is, like, sort of at an odd length, and we're going to have to figure out, like, where we were going to, like, watch more episodes, because, like, we would have to have, like, 2 weeks where we watched 4 episodes if we were, like, doing it that way. And, like, there just wasn't a great way to make that fit, both because we have, like, a movie in the middle of this, and we have, like... This arc is one of the, like, rare places in the Naruto anime where, like, there are a lot of episodes that adapt more than 2 chapters, so it winds up being, like, kind of, like... It winds up being kind of hard to, like, find a spot where it's just, like, sort of, like, light and, like, not very dense that we can, like, easily fit, like, a 4th episode in, much less 2 of those. So we're just going to do 2 next week, and it might be kind of like an episode, but, like, I think it is, like, the best thing for the podcast. Like, it is certainly better than, like, trying to do some of the other shit we thought about, where it was like, oh yeah, we're going to do, like, 4 episodes and then the movie and then another 4 episodes or something. Like, I think it is just a better call than, like, trying to, like, overextend ourselves. And,
Totally.
So yeah, just 2 next week, and then we'll be back to, like, our normal 3 for, like, quite a while after that, I think.
Awesome. Hey, if you're excited for more, you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Konoha Crush. All one word, Konoha Crush. For just $3 a month, you get access to our episodes up to a week early. I finished watching the anime for this month's Narukai Uzumaki.
Oh, nice. You got there ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking done yet.
Wow.
I got, like, 4 episodes to go, I think.
Mm-hmm. So that might be out by the time this is up on the main feed. So if you want to check that out, we're watching ReZero.
Yeah, I'm super excited to talk about that.
Yeah, totally. So hey, if you want access to that, that's just $5 a month. You get access to Naruto Uzumaki, our like isekai and isekai adjacent sideshow where we talk about a whole season of anime every month. It's a lot of fun. A lot of it is jokes.
But also, it's like a real serious attempt to like engage with and like figure out what value we can find in like a genre that is like, somewhat rightly derided. But I think, I think there's some stuff there, and I think that like we have some good conversations too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully at the end of it, the goal is to build like a big solid list, like a ranking of isekai that you can go to and refer to if you want to like sound smart and objective to all your friends.
Yeah. And, of course, thanks to our Journey tier patrons, Maple and Izzy, future Jinchuriki of the Six-Tailed Beast. Also, hey, if you're listening to our podcast and you said, hey, they sure are talking about pictures a lot, you should check out our Twitter, at Konoha Crush, all one word, Konoha Crush. Any like images we talk about will be found on our Twitter. And I stream on Twitch, usually art stuff. Art Fight's over now, so I'm going to be picking up progress on the like comic again. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff for that, drawing like thumbnails and working on pages, just kind of like talking about it in general. So if you listen to me try and rewrite Naruto a bunch and you think, hey, this bitch, that there's something to this, you should see what I can do when I write something on, the real way. You can check me out there. That is twitch.tv/Guinevere Teef. All one word, Guinevere Teef, GUINEVERETEEF. Guinevere Teef. Anything you want to shout out?
I don't know, not really.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for listening. And remember, there's no such thing as filler.